I'm Richard Cissel, and this is your April 19th Migration Minute. As in previous videos, let's look at what happened last night and then move ahead to the forecast. Last night in migration, we had some movement across the continent. Let's see what was happening after sunset. You can see we had a little bit of movement right here, all the way up through here. We had some great movement up the Pacific coast after those storm systems moved out and beyond. And even here in the Great Plains, after that system moved away as well, we had some great movement. So what are we looking ahead for tonight, the night of the 19th? You can see pretty good movement across the entire U.S. Why is that happening tonight? Well, if we look at our radar, no major storm systems. That's a great reason. Right here you can see there's not a lot happening in most of that area. And if we look, that's where the migration's happening. Yeah, there's not a lot happening in here where that storm system is there. And here in the Rockies, not a lot happening in that area. And that's because for the Rockies, we just got a bunch of snow and it's still a little early in the season. So, not a lot of storms moving tonight. That means more birds. How many birds? Well, predicted 100 million tonight, roughly. That's not that big. We've talked about this before. Once we start getting into the 250 million plus, that's when the nights really get interesting. So let's move ahead. So not just the weather, but let's look at the winds. What are the winds doing? Well, if we look at this map here, what we can see is we have winds way out here. All right, we got a pressure system here, a pressure system here. Then over here, we got a pressure system here and a pressure system here. But you can see wide open there. So no storms, no winds. We should be seeing conditions lining up for some good bird movement. So what's holding them back? Well, it could be just birds moved around that previous system and the next waves have not crossed yet. We'd have to go back and look at winds on the areas where the birds are coming into the U.S. from the nights before, but this is only supposed to be a minute long and we can't go that much longer. So what's already happening? As of recording this is what our migration looks like in this moment. You can see in the southern Great Plains, we have some significant movement there. And then Pacific coast is already starting to heat up. Looks great there. And then down here in the southeast, some movement's already happening. And it's not even dark yet across much of the U.S. Let's look to tomorrow night, April 20th. What's happening? More of the same, just more birds. So there is a system that's going to be entering right here into the Pacific, and you can see it's going to slow down some of that area a little bit, but still a lot of birds moving beneath and above it. And then throughout that Mississippi River flyway, a lot of birds moving in that area. Not as many moving along the east coast. Maybe some winds are going to be happening. Maybe that system that was in the Great Lakes the day before is moving that way. But birds are starting to move up and out of the Rio Grande Valley. So then what about the night of the 21st? We're looking closer to that 200 million mark, where we've got a system still. That system's going to be moving more and more out of the Pacific Northwest and Pacific coast into the Rockies. So slowing down, you can see it's kind of affecting this whole area. Okay, that whole area, a lot less birds in 2 nights. But look at the Central Flyway, especially here in the Great Plains through the Great Lakes states. Significant movements there. And back to the southeast, a lot of movement from the southeast up into the Atlantic and eastern states. So a lot of movement coming up in the next couple nights. Past couple nights have been a little slow, but tonight's starting to pick back up. And in 2 nights, birds galore everywhere. Birds for you, birds for you, birds for everyone. This is Richard Cissel, and this has been your April 19th Migration Minute. And no, I'm not wearing a fake mustache or highly unnecessary glasses.